That's interesting. Got that little offbeat in there. Power. The power, the power, the power, the power. The power of art. As a child, I say it this way. It changed the sphere of my world, like, cause I could create it. And so the power of art is inside of you. So that no one can establish it, no one can take it. So this right here, this beat. Seeing isn't always believing. This fate takes place without sight. We can all be united through love without the endless fight. As we sit here together, blessings we share, sharing joys and motion. Take a breath of air. Cleanse your soul of the toxins, stopping movement from path. As we soar here together at last, singing about soul freedom as one, singing to all God's children at once. As we listen to soul freedom, you hear, you're not all divided when you conquer fear. You're not all divided when you conquer fear. So fear is this thing that establishes itself over power. So as a child, I recognized the power of creation inside of a crayon. It's crazy. And a piece of paper. And no one could take it. No one could really shift it. No one could influence it. It was something that strong, and it took hold of me. So I see it take hold of others through music, through visual art, through performance, through dance. It requires attention. So I say, in that regard, that is the power of art. So, yeah, I watch it shift communities through the stroke of a pen, a brush, song, movement. So, you know, I think artists have a very important responsibility to be powerful. Because it is a matter of being. So, trust, you know, just trust. Trust in the fact that you know that what you see in all the different site places is real. You know, and that's the beauty, man. That's the power of art, man. People, I don't like when people take children's art and have to establish its value somehow, you know. This is better than that because that shifts the power. So the power is within, you know, so you just gotta release that. That's why, you know, teachers let the power experience come from the child and you learn. You know, that's what teaching is about, you learning. Not about you establishing rule. It's about you learning. So that's the power of art, man. That's it. I'm the product of a neighborhood that no longer exists. Actually, the freeway took our neighborhood, and I have to admit that most of the people that I grew up with didn't make it. And when I say didn't make it, I mean they're either dead or in the penitentiary, and that's not an exaggeration. For me to say the art saved my life is not even a stretch for me. I mean, without my father introducing me to tap dancing and without me becoming passionately involved in music, I can't imagine even smiling. I mean, this is what I love to do, man. This is all I want to do. I've tried other things in this, and I found out
through trying other things that this is me. And so, like I said, the concept, art saved my life, music saved my life. I mean, I owe so much to the fact that I've been blessed to be able to do something I love this much and make a living. I mean, you know, I'm not getting rich or anything. I doubt if I order a custom-made Mercedes next week, but I'm having a great time. I mean, and life is good.
It's something that you just feel, and it makes you feel good, and especially when you're a part of something. And that's why I'm here and I do what I do. I'm here to give back to the children, teach them how to do things that they probably won't be able to do just everyday life. We travel, go out of town. We make it very reasonable for the children because some of them won't get the opportunity to do this without the drill team. So we're here at the Marching Falcons facility. We try to encourage the children to become more involved in arts and to give back, because without arts, the community will die. Like you see movie stars, Alvin Ailey, we teach dance here. Maybe they want to go off to Broadway, do Broadway shows. We teach percussionists how to become percussionists. They want to go off to marching bands, famous HBCU colleges, or anywhere they want to go. So we try to give them an outlet here to be able to go out, travel, and to see things, and to be able to come back and to give back those experiences to the community, so that way art can stay alive. Art is very important to the community. We have a lot of community-based projects we do here, trying to keep the art alive, because without art, everything will be dead. Because the reason why I'm here really to give my life back to art, because art saved my life. And without art, no telling where I would be. I probably would be another statistic out here in the street. So it's very important that we learn the arts, we value the arts, and we take the arts with us so we can give back. So that way we can save life after life, and that way the art can stay alive.
Art has saved my life, and it's been an amazing journey. It's a place where you are able to express yourself. It's a place where you can be creative, you can dream, you can hope, you can write things down, you can tell stories, you can get your expressions out and your moods out on creating, molding sculptures, writing music, painting, sketching, anything has to do with arts. Arts and music has saved my life, and I hope that it saves yours. Don't be afraid to challenge yourself to think outside the box. Be who you are. God bless you.
If I didn't have this music, I wouldn't have left the block. I wouldn't have ran away from home when I was 17 to go live with my auntie and start working on my craft. I would have been on that block. Real music always shines and it stretches for miles and miles and miles and miles, you know what I mean? And it found me at a young age. Because of my love of the Doors, Strange Days and People Are Strange being some of the big songs that I liked, I said I want to call it strange music, man. Now at this time I didn't have no job. My job was to write rhymes, you know what I'm saying? By the time that I met Travis, you know, it was winding down with Quincy Jones and Warner and Quest, you know what I mean? So Travis said, I would like to do a joint venture with you, you know, let's go. And I said, yeah, I want to call it Strange Music, because I'm a big fan of the Doors. And he said, Strange Music? I said, yeah, I saw it in my dream. I wanted it to be a snake and a bat. Like the S would be the snake, the bat wings would be the M, you know what I'm saying? Not sadomasochism or nothing evil like that. We're from the church, you know what I'm saying? Raised Christian. My mom married a Muslim when I was 12. I had no evil teachings ever other than the television. We're the #1 independent rap label in the world. We sell out shows all over the world. We do domestic shows, we do shows overseas, we go everywhere. We've been to Kuwait and Bahrain, you know what I'm saying? Hence the boots I have on, you know what I'm saying? Hence my haircut after I went out there and did it with the, did shows for the soldiers and fell out of a Apache helicopter and cracked my ribs, my 8th and 9th rib, and still did the shows in pain because I went out there not to be no punk, to actually do that for the troops. Because what they do for us out there makes it possible for us to do this, what we do over here, you know what I mean? This is the thing that saved my life. This is the thing that's putting my kids through college. This is the thing that allows me to buy my son and my daughters brand new cars, because I had them at the same time. When you having fun and you young back in the day and you messing with more than one girl, you ain't thinking, okay, you have two babies at the same time, you got to put them through college at the same time, got to buy them cars at the same time. You ain't thinking that. But thank the Lord that I was able, because of strange music, because of my love for the Doors, rock and roll music, art, the art of music and making music saved my life. Because without the music, I would have been back in my hood, blood gang, and probably would have been dead by now, because anything I do it to the fullest. And my hood is a blood hood. You know what I'm saying? 5-6ville, 57th Street, Rogue Dog Villain. You know what I mean? That whole area is where I grew up. Thank the Lord for the art of music, because it saved my life for real. Without, I don't know anything else. And everything I build after this is because I built this already. When people come up shaking and crying and they say, Tech, your music saved my life. You know, I wanted to commit suicide, but when I listened to suicide letters, your music got me through. I feel like I did something. Or when I went out to Kuwait and Bahrain and did that for the troops, they say, we listened to your music, Riot Maker, and it got us through, man. It got us through the battle and this, that, and the other, and that makes me feel invincible, man. I don't know what it's gonna take to change the world, you know what I mean? I don't know if it's money, I don't know if it's rhyme, I don't know if it's music, I don't know what it is, you know what I mean? Because the world actually needs help right now. You got Sandy Hooks, you know what I'm saying? You know, Adam Lanza, who did that. You got James Holmes that did the thing in Colorado. You got Ariel Castro that kept the girls for almost 10 years, you know what I mean? You got the bombing in Boston at the marathon, you know what I'm saying? There's so many things. You got Jodi Arias, you know what I'm saying? The world needs love right now. Music saved my life, man. Art saved my life. And I thank God for it, because without it, we'd be lost.
I can so share my heart in the cold air, and it's no fair, the sun is so rare. Bloody murder, wretched death ride. Take me light in my darkness, will take your baptized.
Art impacts a lot of things. Why? Because we have the greatest artist of all. You can see the artwork in the sunrise, and you can see the beauty of the artwork in the sunset. You can even see the ultimate artist in the night sky and the darkness. Art is everywhere. And so for me, how it impacted my life and what it has done for me, I took the art of an original way of life that we call a traditional way of life. For me, I call it a real way of life, because it's based on what is real. It's not based on illusion. It's not based on what I can conjure up in my own mind. And so why I say a real way of life is because what it has done for me, you know, how it guided my life or steered my life based on the decisions that I've made for me to incorporate my life into this very artistic, ceremonial way of life. It also enabled me to be able to do it in a musical aspect also. It also influences how I portray myself as a character, whether it's on film or a television program. The traditional way of the art style has impacted every aspect of what it is that I've ever done in my life. When I stop and really think about it, I think about how is it that a common person can take perfection and make it any better. So instead of me trying to make it better, I'm going to just go ahead and apply myself into what is already perfect. Because again, the creator of all creation already made it all perfect. I can't make a better color than what the creator already has made. Why? Because all the colors that we take comes from there. And so it's already beautiful. Now why I said it impacts my life is because the decisions that I make as a common person, I can either be a part of that beauty and or I cannot be a part of that beauty. And so I choose to be a part of that beauty. I believe in perfection. Not just believe, I trust in perfection. I know that perfection is real. I know that perfection can exist. Why? Because like I said, it's already in the sunrise, it's already in the sunset. Even in the middle of a hot afternoon, I can find something natural that is already beautiful. If an individual can tap into their spiritual aspect, truly tap into their spiritual aspect, and translate that into whether it's music, or whether it's a painting, or a drawing, and or whether it's a character, then someone is going to, when they transform that and make that transition and bring it to life physically, then another individual can relate to it. Another individual is going to feel something from that. And we see it all the time. When we're walking by a particular artwork hanging on a wall, it's going to get our attention. Why? Because someone was able to translate from the spirit, from their spirit into the physical realm, was able to translate. Or whether we listen to music or see someone performing, we're going to be able to relate because that person is translating from the spirit into the physical. And that's real. Then it becomes real. And so for me, to me, I really appreciate artists who are able to do that. I really appreciate an artist. I don't care what nationality, what language they speak. I really appreciate an artist who enables me to be able to connect to something spiritually, even though I don't know what it is. I may not understand the art, but I still feel something. And to me, that's powerful. That's a power of an artist. And every single human being is an artist.
So as you know, that in 2008 I got diagnosed with cancer. And at that point I was eating standard American diet, just like everybody else. And I realized when I was told that I was found to be inoperable and that I didn't have the insurance to cover the chemo and the radiation. And so I'm looking outside of options of what to do, and I'm thinking about leaving the country, and I'm thinking of looking at all these different options of what I could do for this. And one of the options was to go to India and have a hysterectomy, and they would feed me vegetarian meals and I would get to hang out on a beach, and there was a family that would be put with me, like to take care of me and help me and stuff. And there were lots of different options to look at. But in all of that, I met a man who taught me the term healing diet. And I'd heard of vegan, I'd heard of vegetarian, I'd heard of, I'd even experimented with different things throughout my life. But I had never really thought about it being just healing diet, like looking at everything as being a healing food. And that changed everything. And that's when that changed, going from eating, whatever I'm eating, and mostly eating a lot of foods that are brown and white and different shades of those things, to then expanding that color palette to include not just a little bit of green, a little bit of lettuce, a little slice of tomato here and there, but expand it to all of the colors and eat a lot of green, a lot of red, a lot of purple, a lot of blue, a lot of orange, a lot of yellow, and to focus on all of those colors. And then was able to heal myself in doing that, and then it became like my normal. It became normal that I drink green juice and that I eat these foods. I try to eat as much of the rainbow every day, and that just became the normal. And then I kept wanting to tell other people because I felt great and I felt good, and people asked because I looked better than I had looked in a long time, and I felt better than I'd looked in a long time. And so people want to know, what do you eat? What do you do? What do you do? You know, or they found out that you lost weight, or they find out that you held, mostly weight for some reason is important to people. We're vain. We like to look pretty. We like things to look pretty, and that's a good thing. That's a good motivating factor for health, for sure, you know. And so then a friend of mine said that I was a muse, and that started really ringing true to me. Like, why? At first it was like, oh, that's nice, you know, that was nice that they said that, but to take on being like, yeah, I can do this. Like, I'm a muse. I am going to be like the health and happiness muse. I want to help inspire people to be healthier and happier. And that was pretty great, that to take that on and to think, you know, and that it is an art form in doing it and saying things in the way that people can hear you, in not pushing your way or judging people about what they do, because you've got to meet them where they are, you know, and they have to be ready for change. And so lots of times I share something or I share my story and people think, that would never be me. I would never not do the chemo and radiation. I would never not I would never change my diet. I love cheesecake too much, or I love whatever it is that their thing is that they think they love so much, and they don't realize that there's all kinds of options and stuff. And then, but if they listen, and then at some point they go, oh, maybe, you know, maybe that girl knew something. Maybe there's something to this. And then I get a Facebook message, or I get an email, or I get something. Or sometimes people, you know, they don't even reach out. They don't even contact you until they've already made changes. And then they let me know, you know, I was paying attention. I did listen to this and this and this. And when my doctor said I had too high a cholesterol, I did look back through some things and I did make some changes. And now this is better, and you helped me do this. And then I always want to say to them that they did the work, you know, I mean, because they're the ones that did the work in that project, you know, and like that's their project. But it is nice to be somebody that inspires people to make those changes, but it feels also like you feel like you're kind of bragging or you're doing something. And I think that's the struggle of an artist a lot of time, is that how you do what you want to do and feel proud of that and feel like, look at what I did, you know, this is a really great thing. Without feeling like you're being too boastful.
I've been playing piano since I was 5 years old. My parents bought an old raggedy piano in my house, I guess, to have, and I used to go in the back and just bang on it like, man, this is kind of interesting. I went to church, and I didn't come up, come up in church, but I didn't come up as a musician in church. I've played piano for my church, but I wasn't a church-based musician. And I remember going to church and seeing this guy named Stanley play the piano, and I'm like, yo, that's crazy, because when I play, it don't sound the same. You know, he play chords and stuff. So, you know, one day I decided to get on the keys and just every day until I started hearing melodies and how the melodies inspire me, just in general. When I hear like on the movies or anything I do with music, it's just some kind of sense of like insurance, or some kind of sense of knowing me being here is a sense of like, this is my purpose, you know. Because like art saved my life, because simply that's my life is art. I create music, I create things that people gravitate to that helps them with their life. Someone can say, look, yo man, I heard a song you did for such and such, Rihanna or Chris Brown or Kelly Clarkson, like, yo, it changed my life. And not saying that they're the artists per se. You know, there's appreciators, there's artists, it's like a whole world full of just different colors. It's almost like a color box. You got red, you got blue, you got green. And I see myself as a changing color, because every day I'm doing something different. I do country, I do pop, I do rock, I produce, whatever that comes to mind I like to do. So again, like for me, living in LA every day, waking up when I want to, but to wake up and say, man, I'm working with this person today, and it's like, okay, cool. What can I give that person from me to them? And that's almost like a gift. You know, we value material things. You know, we think cars, jewelry, houses, and that's fine, because through art you can also get that. But really, the greatest gift to me in life is art, because that's the priceless thing you share. When you go to a concert and you feel a certain way, it's not because it's like, I mean, of course you might be a fan of a Beyonce or a Rihanna or whoever you're a fan of, but when you hear and you see the music, it just does something to your soul. Art's the only thing, you know, other than God, through God, that's his great way of art. I think music, paintings, life is just a constant flow of everlasting energy of art. And that's why I feel like, you know, that's inspired us. Think about life without art, without music. It's just be like dull. It's like a movie with no score. It's like a video with no music. It's just like it doesn't mean anything. It means something, but like almost like the effort we put into our lives, art is like the score of it. So it's like that's the life and the effort you put in. The art. Like, look at my shoes, purple, blue. It's inspiring to me, you know, and I feel like other people are inspired by it too. So when I produce, when I work on music, it's just not like a job. It's like I gotta clock in and play. It's just I can create what I want to. It's never been done before, or it has. It's just being recreated. So I think art is the only thing that's keeping us our sanity. You know, if it wasn't for art, I think it'd be a lot of just buffoonery, a lot of just endless amounts of just craziness going on. You know, like just when you think, you know, things just like then you turn radio on, or you go on YouTube and you find a new artist you gravitate to, whether it's a Frank Ocean, whether it's a Miguel. You know, where there's all those guys, like, we all connected through music, and we all appreciate, you know, when you put your art out. And that's one thing, if I say think about art, save my life, it can save yours as well. I say, go for it. I say, you know, put your art out there. It's like, it's abstract art was a mistake. You know, it's like just putting stuff together, and now it's abstract. You can't go wrong with art. You can't pick any color, and just do it. You know, and that's how I feel about art, because if it wasn't for art, I don't know what I'd be doing. You know, so I'd probably be in a marketing firm trying to figure out how to be part of art in some kind of way, or some kind of musical teacher. But I've seen art change people for the better. Like, I've seen people come from the streets to it, and think about all the people that we know of that doing music that came from a different background. So it saves my life, it saves your life, it saves everyone that we know, like, on a constant basis, because we don't know. God is art. That's all it is art. Like, we could easily be in a dull world, tasteless world. It's like taste buds. You get to feel, you get to enjoy. That's the beauty of life, when you take that art and you appreciate it and use it for good, because it can be used for bad, you know. But that's my take on art, though.
Art is a powerful healing modality in which you can have different mediums. Some people express themselves through painting, through chalk, through a number of things. But for me, art is an expression of myself. So as I express myself, yoga is one way that I'm able to focus my energy into expressing my body in order to heal myself. Art can also be healing as well. Art is very powerful in that it can bring people together. It can make people, you know, like a concert can inspire millions, even thousands or millions of people to move to that higher vibration. So art is in itself a form of uplifting the soul. And so for me, yoga is a modality in which uplifts my soul, my spirit, my whole entire being. And so I find that yoga is an easy modality in which the medium is my own body and my soul and my spirit, expressing myself through asana, through singing, through chanting, through mudras. Certain mudras that we do in yoga help to connect us with our higher self. My focus is healing through movement. So as I'm moving through the poses, I'm also healing my body. There are certain mantras that you can say in order to heal the heart center. There's certain ones to heal, you know, the stomach. There's certain mantras to heal different parts of the body in order to bring back the health and vitality to somebody. So yoga therapy, in other words, is a form of movement art to inspire the healing process within. I am not a healer. The person itself, I try to inspire the healing process in the individual in order to serve better the community. So that's my little gift. Also, another thing is with yoga, I was able to find my voice. So without yoga, I wouldn't have been able to actually sing in public, whereas before I would never sing, and so now I'm able to sing in front of people as my gift. Also, music is healing, vibration is healing, and mantras are very powerful in that they're the ancient language in which essentially the gods pass down to us as a gift to humanity. So yoga is essentially a gift to humanity, and it's not just asana, it's how you live, how you breathe, your diet, nutrition, to focus the entire totality of the individual's health.
I lived on the street for a while and found myself at the City Union Mission at one point, and I stayed there on and off for about a year. At the mission, and lived in abandoned buildings. I stayed in street parks. I just, anywhere I could find to lay my head, I did. I was couch surfing for a while and all of these things. And it came to me, I had a little flashback at one point when I was homeless, and I remembered painting on doing murals. And one day when I left the mission, I stumbled across a guy that was painting a sign, and I remembered that the guy that showed me how to paint signs and do billboards, I remember that I could do that. And I asked him, I said, hey, look, can I help you paint that sign? And he was like, sure, And I told him I was living at the mission, and he said, well, you can come and stay with me and, and help me paint, paint the signs. And lo and behold, he was a homeless artist too, living in an abandoned building. So I worked with him for a few months, and he got me off, not basically got me off the street, but he got me off of, living and sleeping in parks and stuff. And that was like right down in the 18th and Vine Street area. And I remember after he went his way and I went my way, and I didn't know what I was going to do. I had a little odd job. One day when I left the mission, I heard the sound of music. It was coming from 18th and Vine, right over the hill. And I followed the sound of that music all the way down to 18th and Vine. And I got down there, and they was having Juneteenth, I think. And it was Sonny Kenner was up there playing Stand Up For Your Rights. And that was so powerful to me. Art just has been a guiding light for me. Meeting other artists, listening to other artists, music, painting. I've met so many brilliant artists since I've been here in Kansas City, and it's just been inspiring for me. But in my battle in finding my way and listening to these other artists, even the sound of music, I became sort of sensitive to art. Anything that moved, breathed, sound of it, I followed it and I accepted it, and I listen to mostly my conscious, which is, I think, art in a sense, because that's basically all I think. It's been basically my survival has been just whatever goes around in my head. I take whatever's positive and filter out the negative, and I try to walk in that direction and walk in that light as far as that is concerned. And I stumbled down around 18th and Vine and listening to music down at Birdland, which was on the corner of 19th and Vine, and that was another point of art saving my life, because I used to sketch patrons when they came in the club, and an old guy down there by the name of Charles Allen Sr. He had a heart for artists, and he had a passion for art, and he asked me one day if I wanted to paint some murals on the outside of his building just to make a couple of dollars. And that's where it all started, as far as me painting murals in Kansas City. He gave me my first opportunity to paint murals right there on the corner of 19th and Vine. I painted Charlie Parker, Dizzy Gillespie, Billie Holiday, and John Coltrane right on that corner. And just listening to my art angel, or whatever the voice is that guides me, just led me into doing more murals around Kansas City. And after I did that, it was like, hey, this is an abandoned building. There are plenty of abandoned buildings in Kansas City, So a light bulb sort of went off. Whoa, I can do other murals on this building, on that building, on that building, and actually, help beautify, you know, the inner city. I've had my struggles along the way, and art has been my guide. I mean, I've had so many just spiritual battles, just really just relinquishing this world and just letting art just be my guide, because I said to myself that I'm not gonna really fit into this sort of world. I mean, that's the way I feel sometimes, like a misfit. The only weapon that I had to fight with was a pencil. And this has been my weapon, not of choice, but a talent that was given to me, you know, to use to fight my battles, you know. And sometimes I think about art saving my life, and I think about a tsunami, in terms of a tsunami, when it comes and it just grabs up and snatches everything and just takes everything out to the ocean, right? Well, I think about art as being that twig on that tree that I can hold on to, you know? And you have all kinds of tsunamis, you know, economic tsunamis, spiritual tsunamis, you know, you have all kinds of tsunamis, drugs that just wipe our civilization and just take people away, you know? And art saved me. Art has been that twig, that tree, that branch that I've held on to throughout these tsunamis that have occurred in my life. One particular is the crack era, and I don't know how I know how I made it through, but what spirits were around me and that helped me, but it was the spirit that were in others, the people that smoked crack around me. They used to say, hey, look, you just drink your beer. You don't get none of this right here, because this man is an artist. He's an artist. No, don't give him any. Don't give him no. You know, and they wouldn't give me any, you know, whether it's because they wanted more or whether it was true, you know. You can accept it any way you want to, but I appreciate it any way that it happened. I didn't get hooked on crack, and being in the midst of it, around it all the time, I just thank God. And it was art. Because they used to say, hey, look, don't give him any. He's got talent. He's an artist, you know. And then my friends really looked up to me and loved me and didn't force that stuff on me, you know. So that was a tsunami that came along, the drug tsunami that swept away a lot, you know. And art, I'm holding on to my twig, you know. And economics, you know, with the way our economy is and has been, especially in the black community, you know. And spiritual, you know, tsunamis that come and sweep us away. But art has always been my life branch, you know, through all of the evil and the negativity in the world. You know, art has saved my life, and I thank God for it. I thank God for the gift, and I thank God for the branch.
People, learning about different cultures, at the same time allowing me to appreciate my culture more. Being an American, being in America, being from Kansas City, and realizing that through art the whole world connects on a level that's beyond language, whether it's through dance, theater, or music. Each one of those forms has their own language, and it's been very exciting for me to use my art to collaborate with other artists, painting, visual arts, whatever you want to say, sculpture, and it's just been a fantastic ride through my life to take my art and try to collaborate with other artists in different fields, film, theater. It's just been great. And I think that also the art, people talk about the main, one of the main things that can get a black person out and to success is athletics. But art has been a wonderful conduit for many young people that has given them hope and given them a direction and an inspiration for their life to keep them off the streets and give them a focus and a discipline and a goal. You know, arts is truly important, and I hate to see that many school districts are cutting back on the arts, because the arts uses that other part of the brain. You know, my kids raised in the arts, and my son is a math whiz, and my daughter, their comprehensive skills and their deductive skills through music has helped them become who they are as people. And the arts is crucial. It's crucial to life, and it's crucial to the development of our next generation. I was fortunate enough to come through when arts were a big part of the school system. Even the athletes were in the band. Our star athletes, they were all in the band. The star quarterback, the star running back, the point guard, they were all in the band. So they had arts in their life, you know, and then it gave them that other left brain, right brain thing that helped them to be successful in their sports, actually. And I just think that it's a pity that it's being pushed to the back burner, and I pray and hope that the people that do research on things, and there's a lot of research being done on it, that confirm that having arts in your life makes you a more valuable person and contributor into whatever field you go in, because it has many, many layers to it.
When I first think about the power of art, I think it ties directly to my sanity. So from early on in my life, the first expression of art came out of my love of nature and my love of love. For me, art in the medium of writing is where I've often said poems are where I cry. I'm not a very big crier. I'm not super emotional. And so the poems are a place where I can exist in an emotion, and I can exist in it in such a pure way that I don't have to apologize for it, to be unapologetic. Being able to be completely honest is never comfortable, always slightly painful, and absolutely exhilarating and freeing. I can say art has changed my life because when you decide that you're going to be an artist, it means two things. One, you don't get to put on blinders ever. You never get to pretend like you don't see pain and suffering. You never can pretend like you don't see nature or love. You never get to act like you're dumb. And I think that is the biggest part about being an artist, is you have to live in the truth. Now, how you want that truth to manifest in your life is really up to you, but you have to be present and you have to live in the truth. And that is why being an artist is often so painful, because you can't run, you can't cloak it over, you can't cover it up, like Jill Scott said, with a pair of shoes or with food or sex. You got to deal with it. When I sit down to write a poem, I feel the all-consumingness of the universe, and I say to myself, like, I feel like a speck of dust, and I'm like, what does this matter? I also think that spirituality and art is really powerful too, because I think that anytime people start going outside of themselves to search for God, that's when they get lost. And I think art is a powerful medium to connect with the God that moves through you. That is how you know that God is real, because you get a feeling when you create. You get a feeling that is so divine, it's so deep. You feel it in your whole soul and your body, and that's God. That's that feeling that people are waiting for. That's the feeling that people do drugs for, or do search for all these things outside of themselves. And that is that feeling. That's when you know. You're like, oh, this is why I'm here. This is it.
When I think about art, I see art as a power, as a transformational power. I've lived in Kansas City for 30 years, and I've watched the arts change this community in some really, really fundamental ways. But I know from the Arts Council's perspective, there are two ways that we think about the power of art, when we think about that transformational power. One is that the arts are an economic driver. So the more galleries, the more theaters, the more places we have to engage with the arts, to be a part of the arts, to participate in the arts, to enjoy the arts, the more we create places that are magnetizing, that magnetize neighborhoods, that bring people together, that encourage economic development. And we've got this great example right here in the Crossroads. It's a fantastic example of the power that the arts have to transform a neighborhood. You think about what the Crossroads looked like 10 years ago, very, very different now. On a Thursday night, I was down on 14th and Main this last spring, and I was looking around and I was realizing all of these changes that had happened from the arts, from the Crossroads to the Kaufman Center to the Block. But it wasn't just the large institution, it was also the Fish Tank and the Uptown Theater and the Off-Broadway space and all of these things that had happened. And I realized that something really fundamental had changed, because it was Thursday night, it was 9 o'clock at night, a weeknight, right? And I'm looking around and thinking about all these changes in terms of venues, but probably most importantly what I saw was that there were people, and there were people all over. And when I came here 30 years ago, if you went downtown on a Thursday night at 9 o'clock, there was nobody around. It just wasn't like that. So to see this economic driver, these people coming together around the arts, and the arts being that leader in that is to me just phenomenal, amazing. But the other part of it is that the arts also bring us together as a community. So all these different venues, they're like the living rooms of the community. They're the places where people gather. And when we have the opportunity to experience art, like when we were talking about the various artwork that we're looking at here in our office, right? And we share those perspectives, we have the opportunity to learn from each other. Because the way you see the work and the way I see the work are different. And when we have that opportunity to share that with each other, we get the chance to learn from each other, and we have, in a sense, the art becomes a direct line of empathy for us. It becomes a way to help connect us together. And it's a way for us to bridge the gaps between gender and social class, between race, between religion. It's one of the greatest unifiers we have in the region. And when I think about all the different things that are going on in the region and all of our differences, one of the things that I see is that the arts are one of those great unifiers for us. So it's that economic driver that the arts provide, but it's also that community building aspect to the arts that's so absolutely vital. And when you put those things together, that's really what creates that transformational power. What I've watched happen for children who have been involved in the arts, and even if those kids never go on to be artists, what they learn from the arts in terms of learning how to be persistent, right? Learning how to be problem solvers, learning how to develop a discipline and to really work at something. You know, to play a violin well, you've got to work at it. To dance well, you've got to work at it. So those kinds of skills that kids learn from the arts, those skills around creativity, around collaboration, around critical thinking,
skills around communication. Those skills are absolutely vital and important and serve kids and serve them really well as adults. And so I also see this transformational power of the arts being that for young people who study the arts, they acquire those skills. And when they have those skills, they can go into the workplace, they can go into different companies, and they have something of a bit of an edge over other folks. If I'm looking at employing two different people, and one of them, and they're both exactly the same, except one of those people has an arts background or has studied the arts in some way, I believe that that person has a little bit more of an edge over the other folks because they've had an opportunity to kind of, again, see the world in a different way. They've had the experience of learning a discipline. I know that they have an appreciation probably for that art form. And I think on some levels it makes them just a little bit better in terms of the skills they bring as an employee.
If you're living in the ghetto with no shoes on your feet, a potato on your plate, cause it's all you gotta eat, you're not alone. Yeah, you're not alone. If you're looking for some money cause your pocket's being robbed by the troubles in your life and you can't.
Art is my therapy. I say that because my whole entire life I've used art to express myself. Coping with depression, I've used art. I've sang away my pain, I've written away my pain, and I've danced away my pain, and I've painted away my pain. And ever since I was little, I've always had the dream of using art to impact the world in a positive way through my music. And you know, my music talks about the struggles I've been through and how I've gotten through the struggles and how it's changed me as a person. And I want to be able, what I'm going to do is use my music to reach out to the people, you know, who can relate to me. And I think it's a beautiful thing because art is like therapy for me and lots of other people in the world. And it's important that people feel free to express themselves through art, which a lot of people do. You know, art has influenced me, like Erykah Badu, her music, you know, I can relate with her. Art is like my way of life. Everything I do is art. And it's everywhere. And I love it. Does that make sense? Does it make sense?
Good.
I love art. I became a cellist when I was 8 years old, and it was my way to really let my soul shine, a way for me to connect with the world around me in a way that maybe I wasn't able to do intellectually or verbally or physically. And it gave me that space to really be myself and to really let my true light shine, so to say. I've been a hula hooper professionally for 6 years now. I took that path and stuck to it. And that's where I am today. I've been doing that full time the last 6 years, and it couldn't have been more of a better choice for me out of all the things I did. One of the reasons I say that is because within the hula hoop and within what I call circus arts, there is this outstanding community of people. And I think that's one thing that, you know, we're talking about the power of art, and not just in circus arts, but in fine arts and in music, there's community, because for one, we work better, we have more power as a community, we have more opportunities to feed off of each other and to grow as individuals. Within the hoop community, I've found the most sincere love and support from people all over the world that don't even know each other, but connect with this one thing, this one simple little plastic ring people all over the world. With the power of more than one mind, as a group, we were able to create something really outstanding and really powerful. Now, I think one thing that people forget is when you're creating art, when you're choreographing a dance, when you're composing a piece of music, it's not the end process or the end result that really makes the artwork what it is. It's the process of getting there that really helps you. I mean, if you're really delving in and allowing yourself to experience that process, all the mistakes, all of the pain, if you're doing what I'm doing, all the frustrations and the roadblocks, if you're allowing that to be part of your experience, it becomes a metaphor for life. I never liked school. I learned how to read, I learned how to do math. It was never something that I enjoyed, and looking back on it now, knowing how I am, being a mover, being a kinetic person, I realized it was because there was something missing there. And that was the creative aspect, is frequently not highlighted in educational systems. And had I had that opportunity to really explore myself artistically, everything else I learned would have stuck with me more. And I think that that's really important for every child, whether they think they're artistic or not. It opens up a new pathway in your brain that allows for new information to come and stay and to be nurtured.
We had just arrived on top of Mount Smung at approximately 9:30, and I was seated over there, and I saw an image hovering over there, and I ran over to my sisters over there to let them know what we saw. Then we also saw the symmetrical reflection in that area, and then we began to sing.
Play the instrument. I was singing, and there was another gentleman, a little young guy here too, was playing the guitar, and she was playing the drums. And as we played, they're gonna have to pick up because I was in the spirit singing. My eyes were closed, so I did see. Let's let them know. Yes. So I did call on the spirits through my music by asking them, do they hear us, do they see us, and do they feel us? And then
I began to drum. I was drumming, and I can hear them say that they coming and they're here. And for me to keep playing, and we was gonna see a good show.
I woke up today ready to fight again. I had to go low to get back up again. I gotta get low so I can climb up again. I'm not staying down, I'm gonna get back up again. Reach a little higher so I can see beyond. Working a little harder, yes I will carry on. Reach a little